And good afternoon. Happy Aloha Friday. Happy Black Friday. Happy all the Fridays. It's Devin here with Manoa Valley Theater Live. We apologize for starting a little bit late, but we had some technical difficulties, as happens. So we made our way through them, and now we're here with you. And now I need to bring on Mr. Kip Wilborn, our executive director from Manoa Valley Theater. Yay!
Hey, Devin.
Because we don't know how long we're going to have him.
That's right. That was interesting. Yeah,
that was. It was great. It was great. It's like live theater. It's like live theater.
It is. You just roll with it. Figure out what it is. Use it. Make it work. So I don't know. We were definitely like trying to get back on, and I just wish that all of you out there could have heard the conversation backstage.
I know. We should have recorded it. It would have been awesome. Hey, congratulations again on the fundraiser. I mean, just amazing numbers. I was like, wow. So thank you so much, everyone who donated.
Yeah. So let me say, thank you, everyone. And just by the way, our auction is still open until midnight tonight. So you can get your Black Friday shopping done without leaving your home. No, it was great. Everybody was so supportive. We were so proud of what came up with. We've exceeded our fundraising goal. But do you ever really exceed your fundraising goal?
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of what you're trying to raise more, right?
Right.
It was great. So thank you once again. So let's talk about what's coming up.
Yes, please.
So Christmas Carol will be taping before a live audience on December 11, 12, and 13. It's sold out. So if you don't have a ticket, you'll have to listen to it on the HPR broadcast. And as soon as we have the exact date and time for that, we'll let you know. Hot Club of Hula'ville is going to be on our stage on December 18 and 19 doing their holiday show. And you know what? I am so excited about having you guys back in the theater. So we're just, beside ourselves, getting ready and just looking forward to that. So
I know.
Please come out. We'll those tickets will go on sale soon for Hot Club. And sadly, we had 71 new cases today. We are definitely trending in the wrong direction. So I think we're going to be stuck in tier 2 for a bit. Looks like.
And you know what? It's okay. As long as we're not going backwards to tier 1, I'm good.
Yeah. So, I hope that Thanksgiving Day doesn't produce things that we don't want it to produce. I hope everybody's.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving, by the way?
Had a great Thanksgiving. It was interesting. I mean, it was my wife and her mom, and then we had the 3 daughters on FaceTime. So we're all there at the table having our Thanksgiving dinners in 4 different locations. So
wow,
it's a different world. Different world. Yeah,
definitely. Okay.
How about you?
Cool.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was fine. We actually ordered the complete meal from Ala Moana Hotel. We've done that for like the last 5 or 6 years, only because theirs is hot. Everybody else, you gotta pick it up, then you gotta heat it up. And Ala Moana, like you pick it up, you bring it home and grind. You gotta try not to be caveman and just everybody digging and rip pieces of the turkey apart. But like they waited until I cut everything up. But it was really nice.
Good. And the previous message was paid for by the Ala Moana Hotel. No, we're always happy to give a plug. Hey, and by the way, while you're doing your Christmas shopping, keep this in mind.
Yes.
Buy local. Support our local businesses. I mean, we can all, decide, okay, instead of doing it from there, I'm going to find it locally. So encourage you to do that. Because we're all in this together. Definitely. And today we're one day closer to it all being over. How about that?
Please, crossing all my fingers and my toes for sure. All right, Mr. Kip, thank you so much. We're going to see you again at the end of the show?
Yep.
You're not running away again, right? Okay.
No, I'm not going away.
Cool.
I'm here.
All right, cool. Okay. Executive Director Kip Wilborn joining us. Thank you very much, sir. It is now time for me to bring... before I go on, just so you know, the little gremlins are everywhere today. So we may lose the broadcast. I may not be able to hear my next guest. Her microphone may not be working and we have to do hand puppets. I have no idea, but we're going to muddle through and we're going to have fun. Okay. So my first guest is a familiar face, also a very good friend of mine, and a very good friend of Kip's as well, too. She's been very involved with pretty much every aspect of musical theater here in Hawaii for the last 30 years. She's a producer, writer, musical director, stage director, and she's been composing music for HTY in 1990. She's also a lyricist and a composer, Felisa Matsumoto, and the Ohio Once Upon a Time trilogy, and Princess and the Aesop Peanut. Anyway, so she's written a lot of stuff, and she's currently working on a new musical with Kelly Reichel and Patrick MAKUAKΑNE. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTV Live, Miss ROSLYN.
How's it, Devin? Can you hear me?
Hello. I can hear you just fine. We're gonna talk fast because I don't know how long I got you for. No.
When I was 2.
I'm totally kidding. Now, so Roz.
Yes.
Where did you come from? Where did you matriculate from?
I was
besides your mother.
In New York. Well, I was born in New York, moved to Hawaii when I was a year old with mom, dad, and the family. And it just started that I got into the musical theater world because my mom was an amazing musician. And I fell in love with it. And I just knew that I was never going to be a musician because she was so good. I really thought I'll never be able to do it. So all throughout high school, I just did it for fun. And then finally in college, I realized that I just got to do it. I just got to do it and dive in and just try. Completely different path than she had, but I did it and went for it, and it's been working ever since.
Well, and don't sell yourself short because you did record an album.
Yeah, but my first album was at 27. And so before that, I was writing for HTY and trying it. But she was probably a better musician at age 6 than I'll ever be. So when you got a mom who was better at age 6, you kind of think, well, I should be a secretary, which I like to do, or in marine biology or something like that. Yeah, it was very much pressure.
Now, your connection to musical theater is pretty vast. You've worked with just about every group that's out there, right?
You mean on the island?
Yeah, on Oahu, exactly.
Very, very many. I've been very blessed to work with so many theater companies and schools and theaters. Yeah, it's been a blessing.
Okay, and what is all of that behind you? Is that all like lyrics, or what is that?
Oh, no, this is my wailing wall. So this is the room I grew up in when I was a kid and teenager, and so my brother had the room on the other way, and he got to do whatever he wanted with his bedroom. And so I asked my mom, "Hey, can I just write things that are meaningful to me on my wall?" And she said yes. So it all started up in that corner, and I just got a Sharpie, and I've just added to it over the years. I've still been adding to it over here this year. So I just keep adding.
Wow, that's crazy.
My wailing wall.
Now, we've known each other for a very long time. I've been fortunate enough to sing the music that you've written. It's been amazing having you lead us in making these songs of yours come to life. But is there a specific process for you or what? Because when you and Lisa used to work together, I mean, it was, I still remember to this day that song that you wrote for Joseph Morales, the Bag of Beans song. It seemed to just sort of poof, appear out there like, we need a song for Joseph. And you said, okay. And then you just went and, wrote one. And you said, here you go. And that always amazed me. So is that always how it happens? No?
I wish. I'd say about 90% of the time I can get it right. I'm thankful. Thank you, God. 90% of the time I think I get it right. I do a lot of listening of trying to figure out what the song is supposed to be about, what is the character's voice, and then I try to blend the music and the lyrics. I don't have a process first, lyrics or music first. Mainly I'm trying to get at the character. So in a moment, we're going to be talking with a co-writer of mine. And so I listen to him very, very well, trying to find out what am I supposed to write about for this project that we're working on now.
Okay. In fact, actually, I wanted to bring him on in a little bit and then bring the two of you together so you can talk about the project because Patrick has a lot to say. So we're looking forward to hearing from him. Now, you are a teacher as well as a lyricist and composer and everything. Is there any advice you have for students who want to get into writing music professionally?
Sure. So one of my first pieces of advice is find the right teacher, because you want to match your teacher, right? You want to have a good collaboration. The next thing is to never give up. Never give up. If somebody tells you that you're not going to be a good songwriter or a good singer, you know what? If you want to do it, go for it. There are people who have been on Broadway that I would not have guessed would necessarily have been on Broadway. I was told when I was taking voice lessons by my voice teacher at one point, she said, "Oh, Rosie, you'll never be a singer, but maybe we'll get you to do your demos." And that was not a negative thing. That was not a negative thing. I was that bad. I really was. But I wanted to be able to do it so badly that I prayed hard and I studied hard. And so don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. My mom was told when she was in college, the world of music does not need you. She gave up for 3 days and she cried herself to sleep every single day for 3 days. And at the end of those 3 days, she came up with a realization that maybe the world of music doesn't need me, but I need the world of music. And I'm telling you, us here in Hawaii, people in New York then, we needed her. And she has inspired so many people, poured into so many people. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. Go for it.
I know. That's the interesting thing about your mom is I don't think there's a person who performs in Hawaii that has been influenced by your mom, and that must be just such an amazing thing. I mean, everybody's got a BB story to tell about her ability to sort of, I don't know, she always knew the right thing to play. She could guide you in a way that,
yeah.
Somebody was saying that she could they were singing a piece and they were singing it wrong. And rather than stop and make them feel bad, she just sort of drifted them into it. Like she played something different and made sure that they understood that, okay, this isn't the place you're supposed to be, but this is where you need to be. And they always remark about that.
I can think of several people, including myself. She's done that. You know, when she was in New York, it's so interesting. She was accompanying Leonard Bernstein's choir at the time, working with Leonard Bernstein. Moved to Hawaii in '66. And right across the street from me, Ainahana Elementary School, they asked her early on, "Hey, will you accompany the kids' Christmas musical?" So she went from playing with them to us, and she never made us feel like we were less important than the biggest people in the world she's played with.
And you definitely have a lot of that in you, because I know that when we would do the shows with Lisa, all of us were like, "Well, we're not Broadway singers. What are you talking about?" And you always made us feel like, we could create as big a wall of sound as anybody, and that if we put our heart and our soul into the music, it doesn't matter. And it was true. So
it was true.
I have to thank you for that. So
thank you guys for just being brave and diving in. I love it.
Well, we never have choice, because you kind of,
That's right.
you're relatively forceful when it comes time to learn the music. So you become a force of nature. We just go, just do what Roz says. We'll be okay. We'll be okay as long as we do what Roz says.
Yeah, because I wouldn't ask you to do anything that wasn't. I would be very happy if you fall, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's totally true. Okay, Roz, I'm gonna bring you back in just a little bit, but right now, if it's okay, I'm gonna send you to the back and bring out Patrick. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to talk to you in just a little bit. ROSLYN, ladies and gentlemen. And now I bring to our Manoa Valley Theater live stage a gentleman who is, okay, I was supposed to do his name first, but I'm waiting to the end because he has so much energy that I'm going to let it build. He is a choreographer, a dancer, a director, and a raconteur. He is the founder and director of the Hawaiian dance company Nale Hulu I Kawekyu, and is a passionate preserver of traditional hula. And he's joining us here to discuss an upcoming musical that he, Roz, and Keali'i Raishel are working on. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Patrick MAKUAKÄNE.
Hey,
how's it?
Of course, I should say to everybody. See, now I should introduce myself properly. Right, I'm ready.
That is an introduction, my friend. Well done.
How you?
So I'm good, brother. So tell us how this journey began for you with hula and with music. I mean, where did you learn all of that kind of stuff?
Well, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and I danced for Halau Nakamale under Robert Casimiro for about 10 years in the 80s, and which was, part of the Renaissance, and it was really incredible. Fell in love with hula so much, but I also fell in love with somebody else and moved to San Francisco. With the idea that I was going to move back home, but it never happened. So I knew that I immediately needed to start a company, Halau, here, because that was the only way that I could move. And I did, and there was a real need for people who wanted to remain connected. A lot of expats who moved to the mainland, especially Northern California, and the way they found that connection was through hula. So over the 35 years that I've been doing this, there have been thousands of people who have been through our halau and who have found that really important connection to home. And then I just found a niche, I guess you should say, in San Francisco, where artistic expression is highly valued and created in this atmosphere with a lot of incredible artists. And so trying to balance the traditional aspect of what I learned with something that, is more contemporary has been sort of fruitful, no pun intended. So, and the arts in San Francisco and in the Bay Area are really supported here in a way that unfortunately Hawaii isn't able to replicate. Funding is very difficult, and there's a million halau in Hawaii, but we're kind of unique here, so we offer just something slightly different and interesting for a lot of funders. Anyway, that's my take on it. Hopefully that's correct.
Well, yeah, I was curious about that because after learning under Robert and learning here in Hawaii, and then moving and starting a halau there, what are some of the influences that you call upon when doing stuff? Because there are the purist people who say hula has to be done this way, and then there's other hula people who are saying, let's grow the art form, let's make it something that's inclusive. Right. So how do you in your mind rectify that? Has it been over the course of years that you sort of discovered that, or?
Well, actually, early on I discovered it because Robert was really avant-garde for his time. That's how he was thought of as a rebel in hula, because he was really innovative. But he he had a strong traditional foundation, still remained keeping those dances intact, but he also explored. And for me, that's what it is. I feel that you can perpetuate and preserve your traditions as well as innovate and evolutionize, so to speak, those traditions, that they're not mutually exclusive. You can do both, is what I definitely try to do, especially we have a large the repertoire of our dances are mostly traditional, but it's the ones that are very contemporary that get noticed because it's contemporary. So and I'm fine with that. And I also went back to study with May Kamamalu Klein and was able to go through the Uniki process with her. So I'm really building a strong traditional foundation because that's what I want to pass on to my students.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. The modern stuff is mine. Go make your own. No, just kidding.
Well, for those people who aren't familiar with the Kumuhula Uniki thing, could you give people a little bit of a explanation about that?
Yeah. So the Uniki process is a traditional process where you study for many years with a certain hula line, and in our particular hula line, you can graduate at 3 levels: Olapa, which would be the master of dance; Ho'opa'a, dance and chant; and Kumuhula, which allows you the privilege of teaching. Of course, you have to go through Olapa and Ho'opa'a. And it's the ritual really acknowledges you in a traditional way, following a traditional template, that you are someone who is credentialed, so to speak, right? And so it can take anywhere from a few months to many years. It depends on the Kumuhula and how they run their organization. But when I first started dancing in the, when was that? 70s, Auntie Mikey was the one who sort of brought it back, Mikey Ayu Lake. And slowly over the next few decades, people have been implementing either researching and bringing it back, or they've been fortunate to have a template from which they graduated from and follow from their lineage. But it's really just a way of acknowledging a traditional method of passing on the halal or the ike from the halal, the knowledge. And I think it just makes you very present and committed to what you're doing. And especially, most importantly, understanding the foundation of what hula is, what it represents, where it comes from, and it's build a strong foundation. And then when you get to the edge of the cliff, hopefully you have an anchor.
Anchors are always good, but why you drown.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the other things I wanted to touch on really quickly before we bring Roz in and we talk about your new project, you know, with the proliferation of hula in Japan, what has been your takeaway? Does it feel like the art form is still growing in that way as it goes there? Do you feel like there's still more places it can go?
I think I think it's great. I know a lot of my compatriots teach hula in Japan, and they're very fastidious about what they teach and what they expect from their students. But there is a risk of some kind of dilution so far away if you don't have someone from that field really on it and watching it all the time. So there's always that kind of risk. But I think from what I've seen, it's been really fascinating how another culture just absorbs hula. So, you know, we will have to wait and see what it eventually all falls into. But I think for right now, it's okay. It's going well. And hula has, within the last 10, 15 years, there's been so many wonderful, capable, informed, talented, new breed of hula. I think we're in good hands and smart hands, and people who are very aware of tradition, yet meeting it with innovation as well as new technical aspirations, creating new ways to teach. So I feel that we're in a good place.
Nice. One more thing also, sorry, one more thing. But, you know, yesterday you were talking yesterday when we kind of did our little, our setup, make sure that everybody's microphone working and camera working until today when everything breaks. You were talking about, you know, during this pandemic, how your particular place has become this sort of gathering area. It's made people feel normal. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, we have a very strong hula community, and what I recognize from this is, in some ways, because I'm a hula teacher, I'm preserving culture or introducing people to culture, right? And the importance of it. And especially in marginalized communities, that's important that we have a place to gather and to be who we are, or to share who we are. But what I've noticed over the 35 years that, dare I say, even more important than that is providing a safe, natural, nurturing environment for people to be with each other. And if they're supported and loved with the appropriate boundaries, you get to create really amazing things. So we're incredibly supported by our entire hula community, but they need to be nurtured and they need to be around one another. And so we discovered that this community we built is something people really miss when they weren't able to have hula together, especially with the pandemic and people feeling isolated. This was a place for them to connect that became more than just learning hula, but, oh, hi, I see you. I wish I could. I'm not as lonely. I know I can call you. And so it developed into like almost a support group. As a matter of fact, I kind of made another class, which is kind of a support group just for people to be able to air what's going on with them. And we meditate and we sing, and you got to listen to me and pontificate on this, that, and the other. But it's been very, I think, supportive for a lot of people. And so the community aspect has been huge for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick. Okay, so now I want to bring Roz in so that we can talk about your new project, please. Hi, Roz.
Hi.
Oh, Roz is here.
Okay.
Patrick, I could listen to you talk all day long.
You.
Now, one of the other people that is assisting, working on this project is one guy who also goes by one name, Kili'i Rochelle. So tell me, how did the three of you start working together on this thing?
Okay, well, first of all, he's not assisting. He's like the central.
I know, but we don't have him here today, so I just.
Yeah, he's okay. He contributes to that. Not really a lot.
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding, Kelly. I'm totally kidding. Anyway,
so this project. So I did not know either of these amazing men before this project. So the whole project came about by a man who has incredible dreams and he makes them happen. His name is Michael Jackowitz, and he is a Broadway producer. And he came to Hawaii many years ago, I don't know, 15 years ago, fell in love with the place. And he always kept in the back of his mind that he would like to be able to have some musical written about, that represents Hawaii, similarly to like Once on This Island, or, you know, something that's cultural that wouldn't be, that would be for a larger stage than Just a Luau. Not that Just a Luau is not fantastic, because I just love them, but he wanted something on a larger scale. So he kept it in the back of his mind thinking, I got to get the people, the right players into position. I met him at Stephen Schwartz brand new musical maybe 8 years ago. And when he was producing Stephen's musical at the time in California. And then when he found out that I was from Hawaii, he said, "You're from Hawaii?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "Let's have breakfast tomorrow morning." And I said, "Okay." And he was the producer of that show. I'm all, "Oh my God, I'm a Broadway producer. Let's have breakfast with you." And so we had breakfast the next morning, and he told me a little bit about what he's thinking about doing. And then he wanted to work with a guy, with Kaylee Reichel. And I said, "Oh, you're never going to get Kaylee. You're never going to get him." And he says, "Why not?" And I said, "Nobody gets him." And he says, "Give me time." And it took him a year to be able to get to see him. And finally, after a year, that's how it began. The three of us got into the room the next day and we talked about it. He was the one who came up with the idea of having the musical be about Hi'iaka. And then he and I started on our own. And it was sort of we were getting to know each other also, right? Getting to know how he had to trust this Haole girl. It's like he had to get to know, like, why would I even talk to this girl, right? And so, but we hit it off pretty quickly and found a safe environment to write. But there was a missing piece. And Patrick is the missing piece. He was the missing piece. And as soon as he got together, it was like magic. Yeah.
That's awesome. Patrick, is that what you remember?
Exactly. I was like, "Aren't you happy? I can hear the magic has finally started." I remember that I was just so impressed that I was working with Kelly and Roz, and just really, because I didn't really know that Hawaii had a musical theater thing going on, and that Roz was the queen, you know? And I was super impressed with her talents. And Roz is one of the warmest, most engaging people that you can meet. And her excitement is infectious. And so I was really charmed by her. And then she has talent to back all of that up. But, you know, one of the things about Roz's characteristics that people don't really talk about, which she is freaking phenomenal at, and a lot of people could use this. Roz has a way of making your crappy ideas feel like it has some merit. She is so not dismissive. She like, okay, yeah. She's so good about that. She's the most diplomatic person I have ever met. But Kelly and I are like, well, okay, we can, you know. So being with her and creating with her and Kelly is just like, it's really sort of kind of organic. You don't know how people's personalities are going to be once they come together, and you hear about collaborations that can be really stressful, but ours seems like it just evolves into more and more ideas and possibilities, and so I can't wait when we finally get this thing out there, because we've been working on it for so long.
We're close.
Well, right, and that was the other question. I mean, where are you in terms of being able to put it on? I mean, I know that you've been workshopping it. I know that I have a couple friends actually who've played parts in it, in some of the readings and stuff, some of the performances. So we're just sort of pins and needles going, okay, what's happening?
So are we. So are we. We're indeed. Because it was supposed to open in June of 2021 on the Princess cruise ship to do the short 55-minute version. We were set. We were there. We were like, oh my gosh.
And then
and the COVID.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but in the meantime, we continue to have an amazing team. And I got to tell you, one of the other incredibly important people that we haven't mentioned yet, who is one of the most amazing people on our team, is Stephen Schwartz. And Patrick, why don't you explain a little bit about that one?
Well, so like Stephen Schwartz is like at the top of his field, Mr. Broadway, right? And so that's, I mean, imagine just even having a conversation. That would be like if you're a slack key guitarist and you were sitting down with Gabby Pahino, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like, I have friends who've been living in New York for decades that have been acting and writing and still haven't gotten a meeting with him. And here comes me, and we're over staying at his house, writing one musical with him in his dining room chair talking to us. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Oh my God. And you really sense why he's a genius by the important, pointed, smart, focused questions he asks and how he understands the arc of a story. I mean, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
This guy is really in tune with the questions that he asks and how he asks us to have a vision of the overall feeling of it's blown away.
It's blown away.
Which makes us a little bit, it's very challenging if we don't agree on something.
Yeah.
Never mind. Kitty, you tell him.
So, have the three of you been meeting? Well, four of you, I guess, with Stephen. Have you been meeting over Zoom to sort of go through everything else? Is that how that's working now?
Yeah, we have been. Over the past few years, it's been a combination of, because Patrick's brilliant on everything as far as even like technical goes, so that even before Zoom was like a thing now, he was getting us hooked up with meetings long distance because he's in San Francisco. Keli'i is on Maui. I'm over here on Oahu. We couldn't very often be in the same room together. So Patrick got us meeting via Zoom long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I wasn't good at it then either. But we were able to see each other face to face.
Yeah. So yeah, we continue to meet right now. Like since COVID, I think we've met 3 times with Stephen, and his son Scott is our director. And so Scott's in like where is he?
New York.
He's north of that, like Connecticut, I think. Yeah. So so we all meet via Zoom.
Wow. Okay. Is there a name for the show?
Not really.
No.
Well.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I think we get.
It's like the epic tale of Hi'iaka Ikapoliopele. The epic tale of Hi'iaka.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
That's cool.
We're just gonna have on a how to pronounce Hi'iaka campaign.
Yeah.
Right. So
I know.
if you can say Les Miserables, you can say Hi'iaka. That's funny.
Right?
It's funny how we grow up here. You don't even think that the word Ehua would be difficult for people to say, but it's challenging, you know.
Yeah. They have a hard time saying like, so you know.
They have a hard time saying Pele.
They have a hard time saying Honolulu.
That's true.
But what about the most mispronounced word of all, ukulele?
Think about the great opportunity, really the great opportunity that we are going to have to be able to introduce the world to Hi'iaka, so much Hawaiian, and that's really a big part of why we are doing it right now.
Okay.
We all agree that our biggest challenge is making this available to a wider audience, which we believe has universal themes that everyone can identify with, but retaining the cultural integrity of the mo'olelo of the story. And so it's a constant balance. We've changed words just because we weren't uncomfortable. And this is like the 1,656 draft. I mean, it's nonstop. And so we're very committed to that idea, as well as committed to allowing us as creatives, the writers, to explore, you know, because there's not only one story of Hi'iaka Ikapoliopele. There are many, they're all different versions. Yeah. So are we allowed to create our own version that sort of still fits in a cultural framework? I mean, I think possibly we are.
Yes. And can we just say a little bit about why we think we're on the right track? Because tell them about the reading we had in February, Patrick.
You mean with
Two sides of the room?
Oh no, you tell them.
Okay. All right. So we had a reading and the people from Princess came. And then it just so happened that the people in the room were sort of like the New York Broadway people were on the right side of the room, audience right. And the people in the Hawaiian community were audience left. And those people were like Puakea, who created the book. And yes, do you have the book with you right
now? Yeah.
And Ko'i, his right-hand woman, and she's in her own, her amazing. Look at all those. Look at all those.
Look at our notes inside the book.
And Robert Casimiro was there. It's like I can't even go down the list of all the people who were there. We were kind of freaking out, trying to act cool, right? Freaking out, acting cool. And at the end, people on both sides had such good feedback. So many people had tears in their eyes. So many people said it was important. Patrick, say some of the comments. Now you're on tag.
Well, we all know Puakea Nogomeyer, and he's just like what he writes, and a historian, a scholar. He's just of the superlative.
He's also the voice of the boss, but he's
also the voice, and then he's the voice of the man.
The voice of God. That man can talk anything, and you just don't want to interrupt.
Yes.
And Robert is my kumu, Robert Casimiro, and Ko'i is a dear friend of mine, and Ko'i, I can't even say enough about her and the work that she's done with the Hawaiian language newspapers. But to be honest, Kili and I were sort of like a little anxious to have all these people come. Well, I don't know about this. And especially Ko'i. Actually, to be truthful, I didn't want her to come at all. And I didn't invite her because I was like, she's going to be the first person to tell me. I didn't like that. How you did that? And blah, 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 blah. I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to get better. But she came as Puakea's bride because he cannot drive his sight as When she was there, I was like, what the hell are you doing over here? I never invited you. She was like, Puakea, you needed a ride. I was like, and she loved it and commented on many places that she thought she was very moved by it. And I was like, oh, if we can move her, hello, because
we good.
She comes to see my show. She loves this or that. I don't like that. How can you guys do that? Which is really great to have that kind of honesty, right? When you're doing work. So the fact that she liked it and Puakea had nice things to say about it, that's a good start for us. But it doesn't mean that we have to start working on it because it's endless.
Yeah, of course. Patrick, Roz, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to seeing this show and the fact that you've gotten so much great feedback. I know.
Thank you, Devin. I love you guys. I love MVT. Manoa Valley Theater is amazing. I just love you guys and would do anything for MVT.
Oh, thank you. And speaking of MVT, I would like to bring back Mr. Kip in here because you and he are very good friends. So I wanted to make sure you get a chance to talk story a little bit too.
So, Roz, my dear, I'm writing that down.
You guys sometimes. No, I'm not.
Right here.
I love it.
And Patrick, I got to say, when you talked about how Roz could make your crappy ideas be okay, I saw her do that so many times. She never did it to me, but I saw her do it so many times to other people. But isn't that what real friendship's about?
Right, exactly.
Oh, man, that's bad.
Right. Oh, my God.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
So I got to know when you're going to come back. And when you come back, I want you to bring a clip. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah, because I was there that day when you guys did this with the Hawaiian people over here, the New York people were over here. It was fantastic. And so we're so looking forward to getting this thing completely done so that we can all see it.
Yeah, we are too.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Sorry, we went a little bit long, but it's because we started a little bit later. So I said, we just gonna keep going. So thank you for letting us go on a little longer. Patrick, Roslyn, thank you so much for being here. Kip, Andrew, doing magic back there. I'm glad your computer made it through the whole thing. Kristen, Braddock.
Actually, you know
so
what?
much.
I'm going to give him some extra credit. He's not on his computer anymore. He's on his phone.
Oh, that's right.
Engineering this from his phone.
Crazy. Andrew,
There is nothing he cannot do. We will see you soon with more Manoa Valley Theater Live. Till then, aloha no ahui ho.
Ahoy ho.